are Project 5. It is awesome to be able to share with you guys again here. If I haven't had the chance to meet you yet, my name is Amanda Miller, one of the middle school pastors here on staff at Pathway. And I am so excited for you guys because school is officially out. Woohoo! I'm sure many of you guys are excited about that, ready to be done with e-learning for a season and to embrace summer as weather gets warmer and all the fun things that come with that. And I'm especially excited because the end of the school year starts to mark your transition from elementary school, from 5th grade into middle school. And so Kyle and I are so excited for you guys to jump into Impulse here in just a few weeks. We're really looking forward to getting to know you guys better and really embracing these next couple years in middle school. In fact, that's why we had this whole series called Middle School 101, because we wanted to give you guys some input and some maybe wisdom when it comes to making that transition to middle school as smooth as possible. It's a whole new season for you, a new chapter of life, and so we just wanted to share things that we've learned from our own middle school years, as well as serving with middle schoolers, that we think are going to be really helpful for you to know as you transition into middle school. And so last week, Jaden was here and he was sharing with you guys something from his heart. And so I'm really excited to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart when it comes to my middle school years, and that's friendships. You know, it's been quite a while since I've been in middle school, but when I look back on those 3 years, I really remember my friend groups. That was such an important part of my middle school years. I wanted to make sure I had good friends. I wanted lots of friends. I wanted to be able to go out and have fun with them. We'd go to the movies or go hang out at a friend's house. And so those 3 years were really defined by the people I spent the most time around. And that's going to be true for you guys. Your friendships will have a major impact on those 3 years in middle school and even into high school and adulthood, because the reality is friendships are important. They are so important. Who you spend your time with is going to influence your choices, maybe things you're interested in, how you interact with those around you. And so when you make good choices when it comes to friendships, that's going to influence you. When you make maybe poor decisions when it comes to friendships, that's also going to influence you. And so how do you know you're finding a good group of friends? Well, for me, I've got a picture here behind me of my middle school years. This is probably one of the least embarrassing photos I could find for you guys. I have plenty more of embarrassing photos. But this was my friends and I in 8th grade. We were getting ready to graduate. And I look at that photo and I could tell you silly stories from each of those girls and why they were important to me in middle school and how we really pushed each other. We were all really academically minded, and so we were very competitive when it came to our grades. Several of them were on the swim team with me, and so we spent a lot of time at swim meets and practices, hanging out. And so those girls really were my friends when it came to middle school. And I'm thankful for those friendships because they were girls who were making decisions that I wanted to make. You know, they were making choices in how they talked to people and what they talked about and how they treated people really aligned with what I wanted to do and how I wanted to treat people. And so it was a really good and healthy friendship for me to have in middle school. Now, unfortunately, I'd love to say that we remained close friends into high school, but slowly I started to see differences in how we looked at the world. And some of my friends in middle school didn't know Jesus and didn't love Jesus as much. And so they started making decisions that really didn't align with where I wanted to go. And they started doing things that I felt uncomfortable with. And so it was really hard for me then to make sure I was finding those friends, the close friends that were really going to help me pursue Jesus. Because at the end of the day, I want to honor God. And I hope you guys do too. That at the end of the day, you want your choices and your words and your thoughts and your actions to honor God, to be glorifying to who He is. And a big part of that is finding those friends to surround yourself with that will help you do that. There are some awesome kids, and that's why we are excited for you guys to jump into Impulse, is because you're going to find maybe friends even there that are going to help you follow after Jesus better. And that's so important to find those friends now in middle school, so that when you get into high school and even beyond that, that you have some good friends and foundations to build upon. So what does it mean to be a good friend or to know that you have a good friend? When I'm looking for insight and wisdom, one of my favorite books in the Bible to turn to is the book of Proverbs. In fact, Proverbs, what it is a collection of wise sayings. And the majority of that book was written by the wisest man that ever lived. And that was King Solomon. And so King Solomon, over his years of ruling, and God gave him wisdom, that he kind of collected these different sayings over the years. And a lot of them actually dealt with friendship, because for Solomon, he needed to surround himself with wise and good friends in order to be a wise and good ruler. And so actually in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24, King Solomon wrote this. He said, "One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother." So here was a guy who knew there were going to be people that were going to come into his life that really wanted to be his friend, maybe more so for the things that they could get out of it, right? I mean, being friends with a king was probably a pretty cool deal. And so there were probably people in his life that weren't really there to be good friends to him. They just wanted something out of that friendship. And so Solomon had to recognize that not every friendship is going to be reliable and one that's going to really push him to love Jesus. In fact, later on in his life, he is led astray by the people who are closest to him. But Solomon also knew that there are those friends, there are those special individuals that will come into your life that will stick with you through thick and thin. And those are the kind of friendships that you want to pursue. The ones that are going to be with you in the really good times and the not so great times. So let me give you 3 quick thoughts on things you want to look for when you're trying to find those friends that are really going to help you in these next 3 years in middle school. My first thought is very simple. You want to find friends who point you to Jesus, right? Again, at the end of the day, we want to honor Jesus. And so by surrounding yourself with people who also have the same goal as you, who have that same desire, you're going to be able to push each other to follow after Jesus. Maybe it's accountability to do time with God. Maybe it's choosing not to use language or to say jokes that aren't really appropriate in the locker room. Maybe it's friends who choose to hang out and watch movies that their parents would approve of, or whatever it looks like, but friends who are making decisions that they know are going to honor God. And so hopefully you find friends who do that for you, and then you in turn can do that for them, right? We want to push each other. In fact, later on in Proverbs, Solomon's going to compare friendship. He's going to say, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And what he's really talking about is you want to find those people who are going to make you better, who are going to push you, who are going to really challenge you to follow after Jesus. You will not regret those kind of friendships. The second thing I would say is you want to find friends who embrace who you are. You're going to feel a lot of pressure in middle school to kind of fit in, right? We all want to fit in. We want friends. And sometimes in that desire to fit in, to make friends, sometimes we feel the pressure to change parts of who we are to better fit in. Maybe you have to have a certain type of gaming system. Maybe you have to wear a certain type of brand, or maybe you have to talk in a certain type of way, or any number of things that might make you feel like you belong to a group of people. But the truth is, when we spend all of our time trying to change to please others, we lose sight of how awesome we are. God created you as uniquely and special as you are, and that's amazing in and of itself. And so you want to find those friends who are like, you're weird and crazy and goofy and silly. You're not always this happy, perfect kid, but I still like you, and I embrace all of those sides of you, not just the good ones or the fun ones, but I see all about you, and I still want to be your friend. And so you got to find those people that you feel comfortable being yourself around. People that you can open up to and share, this is what's going on in my life. This is what's happening. Here's what I'm wrestling with and what I'm dealing with. You want to find those friends who say, I see you for who you are, and I think you're awesome just that way. Now, maybe they don't say it in exactly those terms, but you feel comfortable and safe when you're around them. The third thing is, I would say, find friends who are steadfast. Now, steadfast might be kind of an old-fashioned term, but it's one that pops up in the Bible over and over again, and it describes God. See, God is a steadfast God. And what that means is God is faithful. God is reliable. God is present in our lives, and he promises to be present in our lives. He's not somebody who leaves whenever he feels like it or if we displease him. God is present, and he wants to be faithful in our lives. And so we want to find friends who are going to be reliable too. We want to find those friends that are going to stick it out when you're going through a rough season. You want to find friends who are going to hang by you when you say, I don't feel comfortable with that choice, and they choose to stand with you in that. You want to find friends who are going to support you as you go through the many ups and downs that come with middle school. You want the friends who stick close by, who are willing to walk through life's challenges. Just the way that God promises to be with us, He doesn't want us to walk through life alone, and that's why He's created friendships. And so find those friends that are really going to be there for you when it counts. So you want to find friends who point you to Jesus. You want to find friends who embrace who you are. You want to find friends who are steadfast. And I really think if you kind of think through the lens of those three things, and maybe you have a few other things on your list that are important, that's great. But if you really think through those things, I think you'll find some really awesome friendships that may continue well beyond middle school. You know, I've been fortunate enough that I met a couple of people in youth group in middle school, and now it's been over 15 years. We're still friends. I still see them today. And it's because those were the friends that knew who Jesus was, who loved Him dearly, who was stuck by me through crazy seasons. We lived in different cities, all these challenges. But at the end of the day, we cared about each other, and it stuck. And so those are the kind of friendships I sincerely hope you guys find during middle school. Now I'm excited, and I wish I could share more about friendships because there's a whole lot there that we can talk about. And in fact, next week we are having a special middle school 6th grade welcome party that hopefully you guys have been hearing details about. It's taking place next Saturday, June 6th, and we would love for you guys to come and join us. And part of that is going to be, we're going to have a special guest who's going to share a little bit about the other side of friendships, not just the friends who already know Jesus, but reaching out to the friends who maybe don't know Jesus. And so I'm so excited for that. I hope you guys can make it. Be on the lookout for more information. You can find it online, on Facebook, on our parents' page. But we are praying for you guys. We love you guys, and we'll see you soon.